You look at the Sportsline projections. The winner of this game got a nice foot in the door to those playoffs. The loser, it gets dicey. Denver's streak comes to a close now at even 6-6 as the Texans solve the riddle, sitting at 7-5. Now, a loss within this win. Tank Dell was carted off in the game, but no flinching from CJ Stroud and company. Back in studio, Joe Musso alongside Emery Hunt. Let's start with the unfortunate manner of Tank Dell. It's believed to be a lower leg injury and a serious one at that. That can take the wind out of the sails of any team, but especially a young team like the Texans. For them to have not missed a beat and moved forward to play the rest of this game the way they did tells you what about the makeup of this team, the belief that's in that room right now. That
they have tremendous confidence in their passing game, led by a young rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud. When you think about how they're throwing the football, Joe, they're working touchdown to check down. They attacked this secondary of Denver vertically all throughout the ball game. We saw him play above the X's and O's, find those open guys deep downfield. And so when you had that confidence that, hey, we're not going to shrink this playbook for you, young buck, young rookie, we're going to let you go out there and win us a ball game. He did just that, even in spite of the injury. We saw other guys step up and make plays. So impressive performance offensively for Houston.
Going to take a look at some numbers coming off of this one. Home winning streak here for the Texans. The beat rolls on, and we're going to take you right there, right now. Our friend and yours, Charles Davis, one of the great voices of the NFL on CBS, standing by. CD, we say it each and every week when these Houston Texans strap it up. What a game. I mean, two teams trying to get their foot in that playoff door, and the Texans, despite the injury to Tank Dell, don't miss a beat, move forward, and do just that. Talk to me about that moment. We watched the entire team surround that beloved wide receiver, and then it was football, game plan as usual from there.
Yeah, Joe, we talked with Will Anderson before the ball game, and he talked about this rookie class and how tight-knit they were right from the beginning, that they actually had some private sessions together where guys were sharing things you wouldn't expect them to share when they were just getting together as rookies. And they've been that tight ever since. And then because they made plays, they become a part of the team, a part of the fabric very quickly. Plus, they're extremely likable. And we saw all that when you saw the entire team out there with Tank Dell when he was hurt. They respect him as a player. They love him as a teammate. And that is part of the genius and part of what is going on in Houston right now. I don't want to overplay it, Joe, but at the same time, what you're looking at is a team that believes in itself and really believes in the guy next to them. And that's really what you have to have for a winning formula.
We're talking about a coming of age in 3 months' time here. Everybody's rowing in the same direction, to use an oft-used cliche, but who might be the unsung rower in that effort? I mean, we're sitting here and all the praises should be showered upon the head coach, the quarterback. What's the aspect of this Houston Texans team that's not being talked about right now that should be?
I do think, Joe, that it's the veterans that were brought in and the veterans that stayed that have not just permitted, but promoted and encouraged the youngsters to become leaders. Remember, Will Anderson, the defensive end, is a captain. He's a rookie. C.J. Stroud, rookie, captain. Okay, Jalen Petrie, second year in the league, captain. That means the veteran guys have to understand what they're saying, believe in those guys, offer their advice behind the scenes, and put them out front to be the leaders. So you're talking about a Jerry Hughes. You're talking about a Jimmy Ward, who's also a captain, but allowing the youngsters to step forward. Those types of players who have been around the block, they're the ones that you have to look at as the unsung heroes, because they're allowing those youngsters to not just play well, but to flourish as the leadership and the voice of this team.
Yeah, it's a great point, and one well taken, because this is a team that, to have moved forward the way they did beyond that Tank Dell injury, immense amounts of buy-in have to be in that room right now. A thought here on the other side, because we're a couple reps away from having a different conversation and a different winner coming out of this ball game. Yeah. Denver's a completely different team than the one we saw even a month ago. Where have the biggest changes for the Broncos been in your eyes?
Well, I think the changes is that they were actually doing okay on defense before Miami. And obviously that was a shock to their system and everyone's system. And it took them about a half at Chicago to get the rest of it out of them. And in the 5-game winning streak, they were ball hawks, apex ball hawks, 16 takeaways, plus 13 in turnover margin in that time frame. Today that flipped on them. Today it was Houston taking the ball away after a week against Jacksonville last week where they were chasing like mad. Like as a coach told me many years ago, you either recruit speed in college or you chase it. Last week they were chasing it against Jacksonville. This week they were the speed. They were the ones on the balls of their feet. They were the ones punching first, and they took the ball away from Denver. So the formula Denver had in the 5-game winning streak, take the ball away, protect it, operate your offense that way. That worked for Houston today because, truthfully, the second half, Denver's defense was terrific. Houston only scored after a takeaway and a short field. Rest of it, their offense was in idle, but Denver's offense couldn't get enough points generated because Houston's defense kept taking the ball away. Derek Stingley with 2 interceptions.
I mean, the ball skills on Stingley also worth noting in this game. CD, what a game, and we're so glad you got to put words to it. We appreciate you stopping by. He's the best with the ball. Charles Davis, appreciate you, pal.
It's all
Taking a look at those numbers from the Russ bus here, last 6 games. In those previous 5, I mean, unbroken road of green lights, 5-0, 72% completion percentage. But as Charles Davis just outlined for you, this was a different game and a role reversal. 58% through the air, a 22-17 loss to the rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud. And these Texans were looking for postseason football. We got a Lions team angling for postseason play as well, but a hot start and a sleepy second. What would it all add up to? We got highlights and reaction next on Game Day Scoreboard.